I think we're alive. Are we alive? Yes, we are alive. What is up, people, the internet? It is me, Real American, back again with a new stream, and that is right, we are back with yet another stream on a very somber day in American history. September 11th, 2023, that's the date. And we all know what September 11th is. What happened on September 11th, 2001. And before we start, just prayers to anybody that lost somebody on that tragic day. It doesn't matter if you're a Republican. It doesn't freaking matter. You know, it's one of those events in American history that, you know, if you were born before or, you know, you were around at that time, you will remember where you were when you heard the news reports of what happened. So, it's one of those things where it's like, I don't like to get into it because it's very, like, just one of the saddest days in American history and tragic. Absolutely tragic that thousands of American lives were lost that day. Anyways, folks, before we continue with today's stream, I hope you enjoy these type of streams. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Guys, just for $1 a month, you could join Real American. This is the best way to support the daily content that we all know and love. So I hope and recommend you join the channel today. And of course, like usual, if you want your question, comment, concern, whatever answered for certain, the best way to send a super chat in chat. In fact, we already got one. Man Milk for 2. Can I get refutation of LTE's Haley Stan video? What? What? He did what about Haley? Nikki Haley? Did he say something about, like, Nikki Haley can win 2024 or something? But yeah, so today we'll be talking about the current chaos that is happening on Capitol Hill when it comes to Kevin McCarthy and possibly the end of his speakership. This is definitely not a good week for McCarthy so far. It's not sounding good at all for Kevin McCarthy. There's a shot he may be gone by the end of the year. We're getting to that point where discussions have to be had about how much longer does this guy last? Let's see here. He predicts that Haley wins Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Arizona. Arizona, fine. But Wisconsin and Pennsylvania? Do I gotta get the math out again? Because I think I've already debunked that before. But either way, guys, Nikki Haley ain't winning Pennsylvania. She isn't. Neither will she win Wisconsin. Hey, Rap. Hello there. So yeah, it's just one of the things where they're trying to push their garbage candidate by releasing fake CNN polls. I mean, you can't seriously believe that that same poll that had Chris Christie up by 2 is legitimate. There's nothing. What do you mean Chris Christie's up by 2? No Republican with a brain would support him. He's at 2% favorability rating. But yeah, it was definitely one of those things where just some people are deluding themselves. I mean, I got in an argument about the Mark Robinson stuff, which I may talk about later. It's just these same people that come out of the woodwork every single month at this point. It's like, what are you freaking talking about? Look at Pennsylvania before and after Trump. Yeah, I'm certain that Nikki Haley could win the state. Bullshit. Do you think Republicans will ever have the balls to let the debt default to teach Dems a lesson? No. But at some point, we got to do something about the debt. I'm not one of those people that say, oh, gut Social Security, but the debt is a problem. The debt absolutely is a problem that we need to discuss. But some of these people are like, no, we need to cut, Social Security. It's like, no. And at the same time, it's like, the debt's such an important issue that we're going to spend money on Ukraine. It's like, when you say stuff like that, everybody immediately ignores what you have to say. Because it's like, you cannot seriously say with a straight face that you want more foreign aid to Ukraine or whatever nation, it doesn't really matter, but at the same time you want to cut spending? That is the definition of an America Last philosophy. Ben Cynics for 2. I saw a dissent on X saying Ron DeSantis could win California in 2024. Yeah, I saw that. It's like, these people are just... John McCain lost it by like 30. Do you really think Trump, who's probably going to do a bit better this time around, do you think you're going to magically win it? We need to cut foreign aid. Yeah. Again, with foreign aid, it should be used as a, as a foreign policy tactic. Trump did it. He was a genius when it came to tariffs, foreign aid. It's like, look, if you don't, pay into NATO, screw you. Pay for yourself. He's using it as a bargaining chip. That's fine. But to spend $150 billion on Ukraine and then complain about how much your deficit's going up, that's why nobody believes you. Rap, what's your opinion on all the 9/11 conspiracy? Listen, I'm one of those people that I've never really gone into that stuff. Because I just think that it doesn't, in my opinion, the evidence is, and again, you could dispute some of the aftermath stuff, that's one thing, but it 100% happened, terrorists were involved, it just is some of the conspiracy stuff, there are questions, I'm not going to say oh, did the building actually collapse? It did. And some people are just like, no, it was fake, but it's like, no, it clearly was real. You can make an argument about okay, what happened to a certain building? It doesn't matter. It did 100% happen, just there are question marks about the aftermath and some of the cover-up stuff. I don't know. But I think it basically happened as they said. In my opinion, I don't know. But from everything I've seen and read and based on, my opinion, I just think a lot of the conspiracies are garbage when it comes to 9/11. I just truly think that. I think a couple of them okay, there's question marks about the response about certain things, but that's about it. Okay, what really happened in Building 7 or whatever? That's one thing, but some of these people are just no. Nope, you're out of line. That's just my opinion. Yeah. Let's see here. The best person to replace McCarthy is Gates for sure. I don't think Gates is going to become the next speaker. I just don't see it. I think he's going to run for governor, though, and that should be interesting. It's kind of Gore's fault the election contest distracted us from preventing it. Yeah, that's one argument I've heard, which I think that's actually a bit more legitimate than some of the other conspiracies, but again, 90% of the conspiracies are bullshit. Complete, total bullshit. The other 10%, they may have some serious questions about certain actors and stuff about okay, who is involved with it? That's one thing. Hey, get to the bottom of were the Saudis involved, whatnot, whatever. That's one thing, but then you get the other ones that are just you're delusional if you believe some of those other conspiracies. But that's just my opinion. I don't think is that controversial to say that? Yeah, some of the stuff are legitimate questions, but overall the conspiracies are bullshit. Oh, wait, whoa, what was that for? Huh? What just happened? That was weird. Did my thing just... Are we good? I don't know what's happening, but my thing just went off. That's strange. Okay, we're good. We're back. Don't know what just happened. That was weird. What happened with McCarthy, we'll get to it. But overall, I think that's kind of just fair. I don't know. Do you think at least that Bush had some knowledge of it? I don't think so. Here's the most I would believe. I believe they thought that there was something, some terrorist group was planning something. They may have had that, but they didn't know like what. That's the most I could agree with it. That hey, like the intelligence agency, they had like some wind on something. Like they may have known like hey, there's possibly something they're planning. We don't know for certain. I can see that, but that's about it. That's just my opinion. But I don't know. I don't know for certain, but I think that overall, everything that was like said allegedly happened, I think it did happen, as they said it did. But we'll never know. If I'm being truthful, we'll never know 100%. But anyways, enough of that. I'm not any conspiracy stuff. I think it's time we talk about the big story on Capitol Hill related to Kevin McCarthy. Because it appears that this may be his final month or so before he's possibly ousted by the Freedom Caucus. Thoughts on what Marjorie Taylor Greene said today. About secession, I think she's nuts. I think that's just idiotic. There's nothing in the Constitution that allows for secession. There's none. Is that McCarthy picture AI? I think somebody drew it. Man Milk for 2. McCarthy failed the Freedom Caucus and he's paying for it. Yeah. What if Bush was not a neocon? Well, originally he wasn't. People forget. Look up the 2000 debate between Bush and Gore and look what Bush said about foreign policy. It sounded a whole lot like Trump. And a lot of these neocons, they suddenly forget that. Who's the best person we could have replace McCarthy that the party as a whole will accept? Someone like Kevin Hearn, I could see. Kevin Hearn or... That's about it. I think Kevin Hearn's our best option for a realistic speaker. But who knows? I don't think Andy Biggs is going to get it. He's just the Freedom Caucus guy. But it's something like Hearn, Donalds I could see, because everybody likes Donalds. That's about it. So anyways, let's get into it. Kevin McCarthy is facing the greatest peril to his speakership since he clawed his way into the job 8 months ago, with multiple factions of his party feuding in a looming revolt ahead of the battle to fund the government. This is why people are saying, how much longer does this guy have? Serious question. Chat, how long do we think that McCarthy has? Because I don't know. This and the impeachment stuff may kill McCarthy's chances at being speaker for the rest of the year. If there's something that can really get him out, it's this. Scalise, he has some health problems, so I don't think he will. Chris Christie for speaker. Well, Van Drew is actually an interesting one. He's like weird. It's like he's from southern New Jersey. He's kind of, like generic in some of the issues, but like America First, where it comes to foreign policy, where it's like, no, I'm against all foreign aid. No, we're not spending it. He's like one of the only, like, I guess, moderate Republicans that I like. Because, like, with him, it's like he represents a fairly Republican seat, but he has a history of, for Christ's sake, he was a Democrat. He was a Democrat just 4 years ago in Congress, but he flipped. He was one of the only pro-Trump Democrats. Cole Langdon for 5. Possibility Trump flips Virginia if no labels on the ballot. Same with Minnesota. Also, thoughts on the Alaska House seat next year. I don't think Trump's going to win Virginia, but it's probably going to be closer. Minnesota, same deal. Now, Alaska House, hopefully Chewbacca runs again. I don't want to get stuck with Bigich again. Who, mind you, we have data to prove he did worse than Palin. Go look that up. So, yeah. Who? Jeff Van Drew from southern New Jersey. He's one of the only, like, good Republicans from the Northeast. That's just a sad fact. Outside of, like, Santos and, Santos, the rest kind of just suck. Or you don't know anything about. Fitzpatrick's decent, considering his district. I'll give it to him. There's nothing in the Constitution that says you can't secede either. Well, the thing is, it's when you sign into the Constitution, you're kind of in it forever. You can't just get out of it. Alaska needs to dump ranked choice voting. Yeah, hopefully they are. It sounds like they have momentum on that front, but it's going to be hard to beat an incumbent next year. Very hard. Yeah, Perry's good, but it's like, I'm talking more of New Jersey and New York. Not necessarily Pennsylvania. The fact we could say Santos unironically is crazy. Yeah, I mean, just the fact that he has one of the best voting records in the House. But he's like, he knows he's probably screwed. Might as well go all out. So, ultra-conservative members of the House GOP are talking in unsettled terms about turning on McCarthy if he does not make a hard line in negotiations with the Senate and the Biden administration. More centrist Republicans, too, are increasingly fed up with McCarthy's efforts to play safe the far right. The far right, of course they said that. They want him to stop giving ground to lawmakers they see as holding the party hostage to unrealistic demands. Oh my gosh. This is what happens when you have a 5-seat majority. Alright. Spend Sports Network for 2. Who is your least favorite political commentator? I don't like to comment on that, but there's some leftists on YouTube that are just either pedophiles, freaking nut jobs. I mean, one got exposed yesterday as I think he sexually assaulted someone. I don't freaking know. There's some bad hombres out there. So, I'm not going to mention anybody specifically. And Real Texan Politics has been a member for 14 months. I don't see how we get an improvement over McCarthy for Speaker, to be honest. Also, could Marjorie Taylor Greene get primaried out? No. She's not going to lose. And I think with McCarthy, you could get Kevin Hern in there. Because McCarthy's just kind of like stabbing everybody in the back right now. So, and like, they're trying to make this sound like the centrist Republicans. There's 2 of them that are like legitimately causing a problem. That's like Girardi and like, I think it was, a guy from New York. Those are the 2 that are real problems. They're making it sound like it's like half the party. It's not. The centrist Republicans are like smaller than the House Freedom Caucus. Let's see here. Thought someone like Ken Bucks. Super inconsistent. Good 1 month, sucks the next month. Remember the speakership stuff? We cannot support McCarthy. Proceeds to vote for him. It's a meme. McCarthy's a political survivor. Even his critics cannot deny that his skilled nature as an accommodator, his persistence in winning over even his most dodged critics, and his deep bench of allies have kept him alive in this highly fractured GOP. Well, that's kind of falling apart now. But interviews with more than 24 GOP members and aides reveal that it would only take a few rogue lawmakers hell-bent on his downfall to risk McCarthy's fate in an entirely new way, sending their party spiraling into a new period of chaos. And even though the factors failed to actually eject McCarthy, some of the speaker's confidentes privately concede there may be no way to recover. So yeah, there's definitely some growing signs that we are seeing possibly the end of McCarthy. Because the Freedom Caucus ain't happy. Gates is out here saying that we gotta get rid of this guy. Yeah. Duster Carter for 2. Thoughts on the Young Turks Anna Kasparian? She's swinging right. I seen that, but it's gonna be like Bill Maher or whoever the frick Bill Maher I think it is. That liberal that suddenly became super like based on certain issues. Like that's one issue. That's not gonna change after that. Spend Sports Network for 2. Grade Kevin McCarthy from 1 through 10. 5. Better than Paul Ryan, but that's not saying much. I think 5. Just the debt stuff really pissed off people. That was... The fact that Democrats voted excitingly for it, when they said, oh no, we have so much opposition, it's like, pfft. That I really think made people mad at him. Those Viator, those competing forces of McCarthy's conference will collide this month and could drive the nation to a government shutdown while reshaping the Republican agenda for the rest of Congress. The speaker faces two choices, said Bob Good of Virginia, a vocal McCarthy detractor who says the party shouldn't fear a shutdown. He stares down the Senate, stares down the White House, forcing the cave, and is a transformational speaker. Or he could choose to make a deal with Democrats. Exactly. I mean, just say, okay, just negotiate or we're not going to do anything. That's all McCarthy has to do. He has leverage. These idiots say, no, he doesn't. We got so much last time. What did we get last time? We got freaking welfare work requirements for 2 years. Whoop-de-frickin' do. Real Texan politics for 5. Thoughts on the recent North Carolina poll with Trump and Robinson up by 4? Yeah, Robinson's probably going to win. As of now, at least, I think he is trending towards victory. And these people are saying that he can't win or there's no chance of him winning. I'm sorry, but you are an idiot if you seriously believe Mark Robinson doesn't have a serious shot. You could say he's not the favorite, fine. But to go around saying Mark Robinson is not the favorite because he's too conservative. Bullshit. He's one of the best fundraisers in North Carolina. He's got the endorsement of everyone. He won in 2020, and they're throwing everything they can at him, and nothing's sticking. And Josh Stein is running an atrocious campaign from everything I'm hearing. So I think Mark Robinson right now is in a really good situation. I don't know who wins, but I think it's trending towards Mark Robinson. And he's one of the only Republicans that I could say he could turn North Carolina into a super red state if he wins. Maxwell JW for 5. Does the bad shape of the Rust Belt GOPs hurt Trump's chances of winning those states next year? Any updates on the Michigan GOP chair dispute? So, the Wisconsin GOP doesn't give a shit. They're fighting like hell to get rid of Protasewicz, which, thank God. I mean, these Speaker Voss, which I'm not I don't like him because there's some things about him that's like, dude, why? He says some stupid stuff, but when it comes to being a speaker, he doesn't give a rat's ass what happens with his approval rating. He has a supermajority in the state Senate, basically a supermajority in the state House. All right, we're going to ram through everything we want. And if you dare touch these maps after you illegally stated you will, before you even won, we are going to impeach you. It's like, they don't give a shit. The Wisconsin GOP knows what to do. There's some problems here and there, but overall, they're great GOP. Michigan got their money under control. Pennsylvania to be determined. So, we just gotta see. Real Texan politics for 5. The voters don't know yet how crazy Robinson is. Will be the next wait for the announcement bump. Yeah, we've been here for... How long has Mark Robinson been campaigning for? 5 months? 4? And he's led every single poll since last December. Every single one. And a large chunk of these are Democrat internals. What does that tell you? It's like, yeah, the wait for the announcement bump. That's what these same people are going to do. Wait for Josh Stein to expose him. He already did. Everybody in North Carolina already knows about Mark Robinson's past statements. And he's explained them pretty good. Like some of the abortion stuff, he said, I made a mistake. He's one of the only people that admits, yeah, I screwed up. It's a mistake that I regret to this day. I mean, how can people look at Mark Robinson and say, no, he's unelectable because conservative? That's what some of these people think. They think if you are conservative, by even remotely conservative, you're automatically unelectable. Spence Sports Network for 5. If McCarthy's the speaker, will he be replaced by a Republican or a Democrat? Probably Kevin Hearn, still Republican. Man milk for 2. I feel like 2022 was the ass kick the Michigan GOP needed. I agree. Like, they still are awful, but it seems like their big donors are saying, oh no, we're not letting this happen again. Here's $10 million. Go ahead and spend it. But still ways to go. The North Carolina GOP doesn't play around just like the Wisconsin GOP. Yeah. Go look up what the state speaker did. Robin Vos and the guy in North Carolina, they prove how to be effective Republicans. The dude, allegedly, you know the Democrat that flipped to the GOP? Allegedly, he had an affair with her. So he convinced her to switch through. I can't say it on YouTube because YouTube, but you could probably guess how he did the convincing. That's the rumor, at least. That was the rumor a couple months ago when she flipped. That she was having an affair with him. Oh my gosh. Some of these Republican parties, they get the job done. It's just a meme. I mean, you don't mess around with the North Carolina GOP, just like Tennessee. Lord Rhino for £5. What's the chance of Florida, Ohio, and Iowa voting the right of Texas in 2024? Ohio and Iowa definitely are. Florida probably. So I think all 3 of them will. Yeah, just by special means. That's how the freaking North Carolina GOP gets shit done. It's just, again, that's just a theory going around. That's a rumor, but that was alleged in court. That is freaking hilarious. I mean, imagine that. You get the stupid majority by doing that. Hey, listen, I may disagree with it personally, but you got the job done. I'll take it. Man, we need more Republicans that do shit like that. Not exactly like that, but it's like something similar. Oh, I love it. I think Texas will be a 6-point victory for Trump. To be determined. Apparently Suarez is going to restart his campaign. What? There's no way. Hold on. I gotta fact check this. There's no way Francis Suarez is running. He already dropped out. Okay, I'm not seeing anything. Yeah, that's probably fake. Should have known. Should have known. Should have known. Alright, there we go. Do you think the GOP are incompetent or some deep state... let's see. Can Kerry Lake just go away? Yeah, it sounds like we're not getting Blake Masters from the sounds of it. Very sad. Alright. If McCarthy chooses the latter option, good warned, I don't think that's a sustainable thing for him as Speaker. House Republicans will face all the drama with an attendance strain. At least 4 of their own may be sidelined from Washington for health or family reasons, including Majority Leader Steve Scalise, that's on top of a looming resignation on Friday that could put McCarthy's margin for error at just a couple votes. The last time a GOP Speaker faced this intense level of false spending pressure with a Democrat in the White House, it was September of 2015, and we all know how that went down. John Boehner, adios, goodbye, nobody likes you, thank God you're gone. Spend Sports Network for 2. What are you going to do if we lose 2024? Just pain. Feel nothing but pain. Yeah, somebody must have been trolling with the Suarez stuff. McCarthy has built a deeper well of goodwill with the right than Boehner ever did. Which is true. Still, the Californian has other headaches too. From a party bitterly divided on Ukraine to the dicey politics of pushing his centrists into a Biden impeachment inquiry that many are leery of. And he's navigating a significantly smaller majority than his Ohio predecessor. But even then, you got some freaking leverage here. Use it! I don't get why these people are saying, well, we can't do anything because Democrats have a majority in the Senate. Okay, so what? Just say we're not going to vote on anything. Until we meet at the table, we get something, you get something. Not this crap of you get something, we get shafted. Not to mention the few ultra-conservatives, including Good, who have publicly and privately discussed a possible vote to challenge the speaker. All contingent on the coming government funding fight. Half dozen conservatives interviewed described their trust in McCarthy as deteriorating in the 3 months since the speaker's debt deal with Biden, and vented about insufficient outreach from leadership over the August recess. Matt Rosendale said he's irked by McCarthy's recent warning on national TV that a shutdown would endanger House GOP investigations of the Biden family. Which, that makes no sense. What are you talking about? That's a separate thing. I don't get what McCarthy is trying to do here. I understand that, yeah, he has to play it smart with some of the, like the Brian Fitzpatricks of the world, but he's not going to lose. Let's see here. I swear the only Republicans that can win Arizona are old Republicans, if they are Trumpian, probably. Rumor has it Ronna McDaniel and the RNC are talking about adapting a superdelegate system to wall Trump out of the nomination. If they do that, well, they can kiss their election chances goodbye. Just imagine what happens. They get crushed. Do they even win a state in that situation? Do they? Because you're talking about half the base probably saying, screw you. He's trying to intimidate us. It's called the distraction. And guess what? I will not be intimidated by such distractions, said Rosendale, who is eyeing a Senate bid. If McCarthy chooses stopgap funding deal to help from Democrats, Rosendale added, it'd be very costly for him. It basically completely undermines his credibility. McCarthy's office has set a short-term continuing resolution or spending stopgap of a few months may be necessary to give Republicans more leverage in the spending negotiations. The Speaker's view is that the more appropriations bill we can pass through the House, the stronger position will be in to achieve Republican goals. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. It's like, yes, if we pass everything you want, please help us something down the line. That's not going to work. That is not going to work whatsoever. We are going to get screwed if they actually follow through with this. I don't get it. Can somebody in chat explain to me, what is the point of just, we're going to give up everything you want, but surely 5 months down the line, we could get something. This philosophy is why the GOP is shit. Just shut it. Let them shut it down. Just pass your own bill that does what you want. And let the Democrats veto it. Go ahead. Just go ahead. Matt Rosendale will lose unless Christie's the nominee. Let's see. Just shut it down. What's McCuck up to this time? Well, he's basically trying to screw us over now, but promises us 5 months down the line we'll get something. That's not gonna work. That isn't going to work at all. It's going to backfire. I really hope we see a trifecta in Virginia this November. Yeah, there's actually a chance of it now. One of the Democrats' candidates in one of the most critical seats, well, her chances went down the toilet. I guess she had a sex scandal or something about it. Let's just say she did services for support, it sounds like. That's what I've heard, at least. But it looks like we have a chance in Virginia. I don't know yet, but the funding looks good. We have momentum on our side. Youngkin's been barnstorming the state. Man Milk for 5. This is because the GOP is more concerned with being nice to Democrats than it is with actually passing real concrete legislation to help Americans. Thank you. They don't... The GOP, especially the leadership, still, they think this is 2000. They think it's the Bush years. It's like, no. This isn't 2000 with Bush's coalition, which is dead, by the way. Think about this for a second, everybody. Why do you think the Bush coalition is dead? One, it was unsustainable. Demographic trends alone kill any shot of, holding on to the suburbs forever. And plus the increasing vote of Hispanics, African Americans, Asians. It wasn't sustainable. But number 2 was the working class vote, which is still a large share of the vote. You can't just bank on, winning them by 2 points and hopefully win everybody else. That's not sustainable. Your entire strategy is lower turnout elections, and we win. That's the problem with the old ways. You need a 12% turnout to win. If it was 30%, you're fucked. That's what it was back then. Plus, when you look at it, a lot of these Bush voters are actually just, dead. A lot of them got old, and they either don't vote or they're already dead, supposedly. Desert for 2. Hot take. Besides taxes, Bush Sr. wasn't a bad president. He wasn't terrible, but he just, meh. If it wasn't for the tax stuff, it would have been at best, meh. Youngkin and Zeldin are the only competent campaigners of the GOP. And Trump. GOP leadership is out of touch with what Democrats do into our lives. Yeah, they think this is 2000. They still have this garbage philosophy of, oh, don't do anything bad, please. Nothing bad will happen, please. It's garbage. It doesn't work. It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating that you had a golden opportunity. We're talking about Mr. NAFTA here. I know, I'm saying he's pretty bad. I'm just saying if it was for the tax stuff, he would have been like D tier. Upper D tier. The age of lower turnout election is over. Yeah. If you don't get lower turnout, you're screwed. That's the GOP now. Or that's what it was. Because now it's like Trump is able to get a high turnout elections but still win. Bush, if he had a high turnout election, like, I'm not talking about, I'm talking about Trump 2020 turnout. If that was the election turnout, he would have got blown the F out. GOP can't just be reactionaries, they need their own philosophy. True. A lot of true statements here. If Youngkin is actually a Republican candidate in 2028, I think Virginia's red. I disagree, but I guess you can make an argument that maybe Youngkin can make it closer. I guess it does depend on who he runs against, what's the environment, all of it. Who is better, Bush 41 or Bush 43? Bush 41. That's my opinion. He was kind of dumb on some parts, but Bush 43, well, look what he got us into. Youngkin would probably win his home state in a presidential election unless he chose Kari Lake as his running mate or something like that. You know, it does depend on, like, who he runs against, you know. Did we win in 2024? A lot of other things. Do you see America First or / Trumpist majority for the GOP congressional delegations in the near future? I could see it. We just gotta get our act together and elect America First candidates. Duster Carter for 2. Thoughts on the principle of compassionate conservatives? A bunch of bullshit. Bunch of total bullshit. Oh yeah, compassionate conservative. That means we're going to bomb children. Bomb children in Syria. That's compassionate conservatism. It's a bunch of baloney. It never was a real thing. It was a LARP to make it sound good. Cole Langdon for 5. Would you prefer a blue dog Democrat or a liberal Republican for president? Blue dog Dem. Spence Sports Network for 2. If we lose 2024 and win 2028, is there any hope? At that point, I think it's just... We may have, like, done something short-term, but I think I gotta win next year to save this future long-term. Just my opinion. But who knows? It really does depend on what happens the next couple of years. We have to, in my opinion, 2024 is a must-win for the future of this country. But who knows? Youngkin isn't winning Virginia unless there's a fraction of the Democrat base. I think he could win it. I don't think he will or won't, but I think he could. He is popular, and the Democrats in Virginia have become incompetent. So, perfect combination. Let's see here. The best ticket is Lake / Lindell. Yeah, no. If we get Lake and Lindell, I mean, Lindell, like, he had something epic a couple days ago with the, wasn't it like an interview? He went off at some guy about pillows. Outside of that, it's like, no. True Zeldin and Youngkin are the best campaigners. Yeah. I'm so scared for when Newsom runs. Yeah, that's going to be a dark day in America. Very sad. And the fact that he has a chance of winning, if it's not somebody like Vance, which I think Vance will run eventually. Now that DeSantis is a little bit out of the picture. I think it's going to be either Vance, Hawley, Zeldin, or Youngkin. I really do think that. That's probably our next candidate. One of those 3. Or one of those 4. Because who else we got? DeSantis is done. He ruined his career. I guess that we got Ramaswamy. Yeesh. Real Texan politics for 2. I could see Lindell running in 2028, to be honest. I don't know. I don't think he ever will. He'll be more focused on his pillow stuff. I hope Royce wins the nomination, but Minnesota's won the least based primary fields. The fact that a Royce White may be our best option, because that's how bad Minnesota's bench is. Spence Sports Network has retracted his message. What was that about? Thank you for the donation, good sir. I could see DeWine making a presidential run. He's like 80, isn't he? He's 76. Yeah, he's not running. He's not. Zeldin has widespread appeal across the GOP. No one really hates him that much. Yeah, Except the DeSim people, they hate him now because he supports Trump. It's just, you can't make this stuff up. Katie Britt's okay. I think she's a bit overrated, but she's proving that you could be remotely conservative in Alabama and be fine. DeWine is the ultimate career politician. Yeah. He's been there since, like, the 80s, I think, in Ohio politics. I think it was actually the 70s. We need Warren Davidson to run for governor. That's what it sounds like is going to happen. You already answered my question about DeSantis. That's why I was retracted. Okay. Well, thanks for the super chat anyways. To be honest, DeWine is okay. He's no Hawley, but he's far better than a rhino like Kasich. Yeah, DeWine's fine and stuff like abortion, but that's about it. And do you guys hear about the Christie stuff? Chris Christie is totally not deranged. But he said, I am going to follow Donald Trump to wherever he goes. I'm not even misquoting him. That's what his words were. I'm going to follow Trump wherever he goes to do campaign events in. I mean, it's like, dude, what? Your strategy is just follow Trump? But sure, I'm certain that it's Trump that has Christie derangement syndrome. You can't make this up. You just... it's a meme. The guy's a complete meme. I don't know why he's running. There's no reason for it. Chris will win every state and county. So true. I totally believe it. I don't believe it. Tube annoys that Christie approaches Trump. Yeah, he just like... It's like the one from Family Guy where he's like walking down the frickin' thing. Oh, man. But anyways, I think I'm actually cut the stream shorter today. I usually go an hour, but if you got any more super chats, any more questions, concerns, I think I'm going to head out because we kind of got over everything. Again, this is a somber day in American history, 9/11. You know, prayers to anybody that know a loved one they lost. I can't imagine that, you know. All the firefighters that risked everything to save as many people as possible that ran into the tower that was collapsed. I mean, I just can't fathom it. You know, I'm lucky not to have anybody that I've lost like that. But it's just one of those things where it's just one of the saddest days in American history. And you get some grifters who... I'm getting real sick and tired of some of these people. That these people are so worried about January 6th and they call it the worst day since the Civil War. Pearl Harbor happened. 9/11 happened. And you call people walking into the Capitol, taking the pedestal for the speaker. That's worse than 9/11. That's what some of these people are. And I'm getting sick of it. And some Republicans are the same. You get Dick Cheney out here. Somehow he's not dead. I thought he's like 100 years old at this point. He's the devil probably. That's why he can't die. I mean, it's like, oh, I'm going to say Donald Trump is the worst thing in our democracy. He is a threat. He lied to his people. Dick Cheney single-handedly caused the death of millions of people in the Middle East. With lie after lie and lie about Saddam Hussein. I'm just getting real sick of some of these people. But January 6th is worse. Really? People walking into the Capitol is worse than how many? 3,000? Just under 3,000 Americans dying? And that's not including all the people that died afterwards? Yeah, and then there's Democrat protesters that stormed McCarthy's office today. You know, the Speaker of the House? They did the same thing those protesters did on January 6th. Hey, I'm not defending everybody on January 6th. But they did the same thing, and nobody says a word. And you got people locked up in gulags in D.C., getting 30 years for what is at most a misdemeanor because they support Trump. Listen, Cheney, he's the devil. He's a zombie, I don't freaking know. The fact that he's still alive. He's like 112 years old. I don't know. It's like that one meme of, you know, the super old Republican that wants to start World War III. That's what that is. It's just one of those things where it's unbelievable. And I'm sorry that I get hot-tempered about some of this stuff. I just lose it. When people grift off an opportunity like this. I don't care if it was the same thing with Democrats. I'm not calling it insurrection. Give me a freaking break. Let alone call it the worst day since the Civil War. That's bullshit. Anyways, folks, thank you all so much for watching again. It's one of those things where, you know, is one of the most deadliest days in American history. And you get losers out here on both sides of the aisle politicizing it because they hate Trump so much. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next stream, video, or whatever.